Hello, and welcome back to Therapist Plays Doki Doki Literature Club Side Stories. Okay, I am very excited for today's episode because we finally have gotten to the side stories with the two, in my mind, canon best girls. Now look, Yuri was the original canon girl for my playthrough, okay? She got first pick, first dibs on Anime Brady's heart. And, well, she fumbled it. Really, they both did. That's not her fault, though. Or his. I guess it's technically Dan Salvato's. And I have to say, Monika has become quite an endearing character to me, especially during these side stories. I've appreciated seeing a greater depth to her when she's not falling apart like the seams of the game. But Sayori and Natsuki are untouchable in ranking. I find them to be very complex and endearing characters, and so I'm super excited to see them interact. And we've gone through a couple of universal themes in these side stories: trust, understanding, respect, and balance, which have all highlighted different kinds of interpersonal dynamics. And I'm very interested to see what balance refers to here. I think both of these characters tend to fall into quite extremes with themselves. A lot of black and white thinking. It takes them some time to find a sort of nuanced opinion or approach. So it seems quite fitting that their story is about balance. Let's begin. Natsuki! By the way, I know that her name is pronounced something closer to Natsuki. I'm going to continue with Natsuki because that's the way I've been pronouncing it this whole time, and I'm certainly not going to change now, like 25 episodes in. While Natsuki is messing with the orientation of her manga in the closet shelves, Sayori approaches from behind and pulls her into an embrace. What? Hi. Hi. The Literature Club has been in full swing since Natsuki joined. Including her, the club is now comprised of 4 members: Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and Monika. Each club member had received a day in the spotlight to share all of their favorite kinds of literature with each other. Natsuki was first and shared her passion for manga. Then, Sayori shared her love for poetry, as well as how she goes about writing it herself. And she had such an impact that the entire focus of the literature club became commandeered by Sayori's passion. That's canon, by the way, which means that the main game is actually all about Sayori. Monika, who has multiple literary interests, decided to focus her day on short stories. And finally, Yuri managed to demonstrate her obsession with fantasy, with a little help and encouragement from Sayori. Oh, I love that, actually. As someone who struggled with it initially, Sayori has never been lacking in her ability to motivate other people. Sometimes not on purpose, like just by being a bit chaotic herself. I think it is easy to be drawn to wanting to help her and also to receive the help when she offers. I think it's cool that we get to see kind of the result of the side story play out in the next one. After the week was spent on their presentations, Monika decided to give the club members this week to freely explore each other's literary interests. Sayori, having spent most of her time in the club so far with Yuri's fantasy books, is rather excited to begin her journey into Natsuki's manga collection. I want to read with you today. Tell me which one I should pick. Well, that depends on the kind of stuff you like. What if I like everything? I mean, there's like romance, drama, comedy, mystery. I like all of those things. Oh, I know her so well at this point. Someone like Sayori is just spoiled for choice. I mean, if you can find in yourself the capacity to like a great variety of things, then there's few things you'll be truly disappointed in. However, I think you run the risk of like never really having something you're truly interested in. Sayori reaches out and pulls a random book from the shelf and inspects the cover. Shouldn't this girl be wearing more clothes? You wouldn't like that one. In a panic, Natsuki snatches the book from Sayori's hand and replaces it on the shelf in a less conspicuous location. I mean, we did learn from the last episode, or one of the last ones, that Natsuki actually used to dabble in a bit of sultry fan fiction, which it seems she must have acquired that taste from somewhere, and it's a nice idea to protect innocent Sayori from such things. Okay, well, if you really have no preference, then let's just start with something that's easy to get into. A lot of these don't start to get really good until like a few volumes in. And I wouldn't ask someone to make that kind of commitment unless they're really into manga. I could handle it. I did it with Yuri's book, at least. Well, I'm more considerate than that. Although, I'm kind of impressed by your attention span if you put that much effort into her books. No, I have the attention span of a donut. But I love my friends, and I can do anything if it's for them. This really is like her superpower, isn't it? To say, I will overcome any of my own limitations if it means being able to enjoy something with someone who's dear to me. However, it's also part of the reason why Sayori doesn't really know how to set or maintain many boundaries, especially not with herself. Like that kind of extremism that I was talking about. She really is so all or nothing with everything, which sometimes is a huge positive, because when she is directing that energy in a positive direction, it is all positive. But I don't think she compartmentalizes very well. Well, okay then. Let's pick something that even donuts can read. I didn't say I was a donut. I just said I had the attention span of one. Aw, were you just trying to call me sweet? You're so cute. I love these two together. No! How did you get to that conclusion? You called her a donut. It's pretty obvious. And don't call me that. A donut? Cute. Aw, how come? I just don't like it. I don't need a reason. Natsuki yanks a book from the shelf and closes the closet doors. If someone asks you to stop, then you just need to stop. People need to realize that. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to hurt you. No, sorry, it wasn't you. Natsuki shakes her head while pulling a second chair over to the desk. I was talking about something else. I didn't mean to get angry all of a sudden. Look at these two anxious people co-regulating each other. It's kind of working out okay so far. Natsuki averts her gaze and mumbles. You're like a nice person. So, I wasn't talking about you. I still learned a valuable lesson. Sayori speaks softly as well, feeling shy after receiving the unexpected compliment. Well, anyway, here's the book. So just start it whenever you feel like it. What's it about? Well, it's like a comedy, and there's romance too, obviously. Sayori looks at the title. It's called Love is Another Word for Luck. It's about a girl who keeps accidentally running into the same guys, and then you find out, like, well, you should just read it. But you have to tell me what you think. I can already guess who you're going to ship yourself with. It would be so funny if I'm right. But does Sayori know what the concept of shipping is? Ship? I don't get it. Never mind. Let's not worry about that yet. This sort of indoctrination into the weebdom. Sayori is literally me at a previous time where, really not even all that long ago, where like I didn't know any of this stuff either. Now I'm neck deep in, and there's no way out. Just make sure you tell me what you think. Oh, okay. I'll start then. Hey, maybe tomorrow we can do poetry too. This is all going very well. What's the bad thing that's gonna happen? Oh, yeah. I guess. But don't you want to finish this first? Yeah, but we could do both. I mean, unless you don't like poetry, and I won't make you or anything. It's just two people kind of respecting each other equally, probing for any signs of discomfort and addressing it almost immediately. Like, is this the moment where it all comes together? Maybe, maybe not. No, it's just, well, never mind. You can worry about it tomorrow. After the club meeting ends and Natsuki and Yuri leave, Monika strikes up a conversation with Sayori. I see you got Natsuki to share some of her manga with you. I really want to become better friends with her. She's so enthusiastic and expressive. I could just listen to her talk. She's so... I'm not sure if she meant I can't say that to her, or if I just can't say it at all. Don't worry, Sayori, you can just think it and feel it. We all know it's true. Say what? Nothing. I am a woman of respect. Again, continuing to wait for what the problem here is. But Natsuki is a woman of cute. Oh, I said it. What's so bad about that? I don't know. But you know, there's one thing I'm kind of worried about. sometimes I'm afraid that Natsuki actually doesn't like me very much. That's ridiculous. How come you feel that way? Well, I mean, just little signs, like how she only says hi to me after I say hi to her first. And it feels like she only gets excited to talk to me when it's about manga and other stuff she likes. Oh, I see. Sayori's feeling the relationship is a little one-sided. She just seems dismissive a lot. She was like that when I brought up poetry. Yeah, but that doesn't mean she doesn't like you. She's probably just shy, you know? Maybe. My stupid head is just making me worry for no reason. It likes to do that. Girl, same. It's okay. Try not to worry so much. Everything will be great. But you can always talk to me about any concerns that you have. I'm here to help. You're the best. Sayori gives Monika a quick hug. Well, I'm gonna keep trying because I love her and I want to get closer to her. It's a little bit interesting though. Like I said, all in. Like, I find her a little standoffish and dismissive, but I love her. Like, I just want to grab hold of her. But yeah, I mean, every friendship is going to have its own intensity. Perhaps that's what balance is all about for Sayori, that she doesn't really have much. And really, Natsuki's very likely telling the truth that it doesn't have much to do with her. Like, Natsuki just isn't that kind of person. The hugging, suffocating, affectionate, showing type like Sayori is. But that's kind of her language of affection, physical contact, words of affirmation. For Natsuki, it's showing interest in the stuff that she likes. We've seen that that's been true across both the main game and the side stories. People have different needs for how they feel validated, and it's easy to get mixed messages or misinterpret signals if they're not the same between people. Despite that, they're both very compatible as, I think, friends and people with kind of parallel interests. But if this is the biggest thing they got to work through, then that's really not so bad. You got this. After the next club meeting starts, Sayori is the last one in, as usual. Trotting into the room, she sees Natsuki sitting alone by the closet, reading what must be manga. Without hesitation, Sayori pulls up a chair and plops herself down, right next to Natsuki. Hello there. Hi. What you reading? Can I read it with you? Yeah. What she doesn't know is that Natsuki is a tsundere, which probably means a lot of things, but my understanding of it is disinterest can be a sign of interest, but that the more direct interest you show in them, the more like standoffish they may become. As far as the trope goes, I mean, real people are obviously much more complex. I'm a little bit like Natsuki, I feel, and I've said this before, that I'm sort of like a cat in terms of socialization. Like, I like attention up to a certain point. But if you try to pick me up and hold me and like give me too much of it, like then I want you to stop. Like I start pushing my paws in and I'm like, okay, but also like leave me alone. Like most of my time, 60 or 70% of it is more like kind of leave me alone, like in the corner. Like that's just kind of how I am. And when I have the social battery for it, I will seek that kind of socialization. So Natsuki's a bit cat-like. Sayori is a golden retriever. She's just like, I just have so much love to give, and I don't understand why you're not wanting to just drown yourself in it constantly. It's cats and dogs here, folks. Natsuki pulls the book away from Sayori. This is classic. You can't just start in the middle. There are spoilers. Besides, what about the one I gave you yesterday? Sorry, I was just curious. Well, anyway, I've been waiting forever for this volume to come out, and it just came out yesterday, so... Oh, that's exciting. Well, I'll let you read it then. Hmm? Can I sit next to you, though? Sure. It's like that classic, Natsuki likes her personal space. And Sayori also likes Natsuki's personal space. Sayori plops herself down next to Natsuki, then pulls out a blank sheet of paper. Natsuki reads in silence, save for the periodic flutter of a page being released from beneath her thumb. From Sayori's side, only the light tapping noises of her pen meeting the paper can be heard. Time passes. Sayori's paper is filled with scribbles, and the margins are lined with stick figures. Natsuki lets out a deep sigh and closes her book. Did you finish? I am understanding what the problem here is now. You gotta give her some space. This is way too much. The biggest problem I see here going on, and what would be valuable to work with Sayori on, as it is for all of us, okay? Like, she is on the extreme of this right now, but we all go through this, which is we make lots and lots and lots of assumptions. And that's just our natural wanting to fill in the blanks when we don't have all the information, or when someone's not offering it very clearly, like Natsuki, just being a bit withdrawn. Not for bad reason either. Like I said, I sort of withdraw when I get too much attention as well. One critical assumption that she's making is that Natsuki, as a person, wants attention, but she just doesn't want it from me. Well, we don't know that. My assumption is that, because I can relate, that Natsuki just doesn't want a ton of attention in general at this exact moment. It doesn't really matter who it's from. Like, she doesn't want Monika or Yuri sitting down and reading over her shoulder either. Like, it's just a bit too much. So the assumption is that this is about me specifically. Then she's probably getting into all of these other pre-existing thoughts that we know she has, like, I just must not be interesting or lovable enough to warrant Natsuki wanting my attention. Like, she can start to spiral, I think, down a ladder of assumptions that ultimately ends with, I'm not good enough. And if she's getting that signal, what she tends to do, as we've seen, is she kind of gets in closer to see, like, does this person like me? Like, she's looking for that validation. Like, are we friends? Are we still friends? We're friends, right? You love me, right? Like, all of that stuff. Now, one classic approach that you could take towards this is, you guessed it, cognitive behavioral therapy. Yes, the one-size-fits-all universal therapy solution for all problems. You could do some cognitive behavioral therapy, okay? You could go through the common cognitive distortions, and I could point out for Sayori, oh, you're personalizing here, you're using all or nothing thinking, you're having a negative confirmation bias, like, you could do all that. And maybe you would. However, I find a little bit that kind of work for someone like Sayori, with her self-described attention span of a donut, is a little bit too much metacognition. Okay, to do cognitive behavioral therapy, you have to do a lot of thinking about your own thinking. As someone with a number of years working in the field with people who struggle with addiction, it is very hard to do cognitive behavioral therapy, to ask that of someone who struggles in this department. Thinking about your own thoughts in an abstract way and trying to apply sort of concrete methodology to changing them is very difficult. It's difficult for someone with like a totally well-regulated mind, okay? My experience, given that many times I'm starting therapy with someone who might have been recently out of detox, like only a couple of days into their basic stabilization. There's still a lot of cognitive fatigue, and, you know, just looking at the hierarchy of needs, like our priorities are more focused on basic survival. And so trying to sit someone down and be like, okay, now I need you to think about your thoughts. Some of us find that kind of natural, and some of us don't. And Sayori, I don't think, is that person. She just isn't that person. She's more of a feelings type. And I like that about her, I really do. So no, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is not a one-size-fits-all solution, even despite the problem she's having being the perfect fit for that modality. Like, it is very much specifically tuned to helping people challenge assumptions and develop more rational thoughts. Not really what I would try with Sayori, though. Why? Because the problem isn't that she's making assumptions. It's her testing and validation of them that doesn't suit her. If I were to suggest, potentially, that she needs to stop making assumptions, or she needs to change her thoughts so as to make less of them, I feel like this kind of thinking is similar to if I were trying to be on a diet to try to make myself less hungry. Like, the problem isn't that I'm hungry. I don't need to make myself less hungry. I need to balance my diet better and potentially eat different things so that my hunger is properly sated and I can still maintain a healthy intake of calories and all the rest, right? Like, the problem isn't that I am hungry. If someone's struggling with disorderly eating, or, you know, just has some body image stuff going on, like, you don't want to either directly or inadvertently suggest that their hunger is the problem. That's not the problem. Neither is Sayori's tendency to make pretty broad assumptions about other people and herself. It's the tuning of that behavior and how she satisfies the assumptions that I think is really what needs the work. Sayori also seems to struggle with intentionality, which is our ability to conceive of things we have to do and then like follow through with them. So like just planning shit out and doing something about it. And part of that's the influence of her depression, right? Like anyone with depression is going to struggle with that kind of planning and execution of stuff that you have to do. We've been over all that stuff, okay? But these two things in combination, they make it kind of hard to ask Sayori to just stop making assumptions. So we're about to see how this plays out and where the tension arises, and then we'll talk about what we could do for Sayori here. Did you finish? No, but it's a good stopping point. I relate so much to her right now. My head is swimming. I need a break. Natsuki stretches her arms. Aren't you bored? No, I was writing. Oh, I saw all the stick figures and thought you were just bored. I just draw those when I'm thinking or waiting for inspiration. I made friends with them all. She's so adorable, oh my god. This one is sad because she thinks the night sky is pretty. She can't look up at the stars in public without everyone thinking she's a weirdo. And this one has problems with his back, but the doctor can't figure out what's wrong with him. She's so adorable, oh my god. Just come up with little backstories for them. What the heck? You're the weirdo. Want to read the poem I'm working on? Sure, I guess. Sayori slides the paper over to Natsuki. As Natsuki reads through the poem, she furrows her eyebrows. She slides the paper back over to Sayori. Don't you ever feel weird just sharing all your thoughts and feelings like that? I mean, your poems are like really emotional. Is that bad? Well, no, it's just an observation. I think people can get closer to each other if they find ways of expressing their feelings. And she's not wrong about that. That's the thing. You don't want to give someone the message that like what you are doing is wrong. This is why I would never want to say to her or hint that like the fact that you make assumptions or pursue them is the problem. And really, most of the time, her assumptions don't even turn out all that bad. Like she was able to make pretty good friends with Monika and Yuri. But Natsuki is a different kind of person. She is a cat. She's much more like a cat. This is not a wrong idea. I love this idea. But that's just not Natsuki, really. She's a little more emotionally guarded. And that doesn't mean that she is specifically withholding them from you, Sayori. She's withholding them from everyone. Why? Because she's not had great experiences with that. Well, immediately, as Sayori talks about, like, I think we should share emotions to get closer to people, really intense ones. What does Natsuki do? Closes off. She's just signaled to Natsuki that Sayori's idea of getting closer is like being more vulnerable, and Natsuki is not open for that. Just not open. Natsuki begins to protest, but she can't find a good way of putting her thoughts into words. Doesn't that depend more on the kinds of friends you have? I don't know. Teach their own, but I've never met anyone I'd feel comfortable sharing my poems with. Not that it's you, it's just how I am, so ready for this comment to be ignored. You write poems? You never told me that. I just thought you wrote other stuff. Immediately, like, this wasn't even a signal or a mixed message. This was, I don't share them with people. Sayori's like, you write poems? Like, share them with me. Yeah, that too, but you should. I mean, would you ever want to share? She literally just told you no. Like I said, I don't do that. But can we talk about something else? This is literally a golden retriever and a cat. That's so funny. Cannot help herself but just be so effusively in love with her and just about anything that draws her interest. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It just makes me uncomfortable. I can't help it. Still, I'm sorry. It's fine. And then you're having this feedback loop of like, smothering and being told to stop, and that signal being very uncomfortable for Sayori. And so what does she know how to do? How can I placate this? Like, well, let's move on to something that makes us both happy. It's just a bundle of nerves at the moment. I should continue the book you gave me, since I didn't get very far yet. Sure. Oh, jeez. They were doing so well at the beginning. Sayori, you're fumbling with Natsuki. Everybody has to go through this as like a rite of initiation, okay? Everybody fumbles with Natsuki at first. Anime Brady fumbled. Yuri fumbled. Monika fumbled. Now it's Sayori's turn. In fact, Anime Brady got multiple shots at fumbling with Natsuki, and he's just knocked it out of the park every time. Over the next few days, Sayori begins each club meeting by approaching Natsuki with unwavering enthusiasm. Yeah, I'm sure she loves that. It's Natsuki! Natsuki! Oh my god. Hi, Natsuki! You've unlocked the pouty Natsuki, who's not so much disinterested in you, but just completely overwhelmed. I think the fatal assumption here is that if I am not getting the same enthusiasm back, then it's just, she doesn't like me. But really, Natsuki's language of affection is just not the same, and the intensity is not the same. So what can we do for Sayori? Well, like I said, for someone who, I think, my assumption would be that she struggles a little more with the metacognition stuff. You kind of need that for cognitive behavioral therapy. It's literally about thinking about your own thoughts and restructuring them. And for someone who might struggle more with that, pressing Sayori to use that, well, we're basically asking her to make an improvement from a point of weakness. She not only needs to learn how to do it, which is something that might be a little more unfamiliar to her, but then she needs to excel in it enough to overcome the original problem. As always, I prefer a strengths-based approach. Think of something that Sayori is already good at, okay, and see if we can leverage that. She just gave us a perfect example. When she was sitting down next to Natsuki, and she actually got a very positive reaction from Natsuki about this. She was complimented, or there was a showing of affection that Sayori is more familiar with, like a laughter and some endearment, like, you know, you're the weirdo. Like, that was very friendly, okay? Sayori was sitting down and she was drawing stick figures and she was imagining their lives. She's less thinking about my own thoughts and more just like very intuitive, emotional imagination, okay? So something I might do with Sayori instead is say, you know, I've seen you make these little stories up for these characters, and you seem to have a lot of fun doing that, and it's so creative. I wonder if we could, since we're struggling with this problem with Natsuki, make a couple drawings of Natsuki as a little stick person in the liner notes of your journal. You could do a couple of different things with this, whatever is relatable. You know, let's draw a car full of everybody in the literature club, and it's a very small car, and you know, there's a bunch of people in it, all four of you, and Natsuki's there. Like, how is she experiencing that? Versus like a very spacious car or like a limousine, and Natsuki, where would Natsuki sit? Oh, I've always seen her sitting on the corner with her manga, so she'd probably sit on the opposite side of the limousine all by herself. And I would trot over to her and bother her, right? Like, use the person's already understood insights, something that she has a natural fluency with, rather than trying to get her to like grapple with this highly intellectual thought restructuring stuff. I think Sayori would be very capable of saying, yeah, Natsuki would sit on that other side of the limousine. She would sit there alone. Why do you think that she does that, right? We're trying to teach Sayori to understand where her assumptions lead and how to test and validate them better, not to stop making them. She has a very good understanding of people's emotional intuition. That's like one of her greatest assets, really. I'd want her to imagine, just like she did with the dentist guy or whatever the scenarios were, like, what's Natsuki feeling when she's over there on the other end of the limousine? And she might fall down some similar patterns of, well, she's sitting over there because she hates me. And so we would have to explore this a little bit, you know? Well, in the, you know, clown car version of the literature club where it's just the four of you, have you had times where you're all interacting and things are okay? Yeah. Like, there's been times where Natsuki can be more tolerant of a lot of affection, usually when the group is bigger, right? When it's the three others, including her. It's mostly when she's kind of off on her own that this becomes overwhelming. So what's different about the time where she's on the other end of the limousine? Is that because she hates you? Is she's interacting with you over here okay? What kinds of ideas might we have about how Natsuki is feeling? Like, that's a strengths-based approach. You want to listen for and observe things that Sayori is already good at and use her emotional insight and fluency to retrain how she makes assumptions and finds different conclusions to them. Like, I don't really want to lean too hard into, oh, Sayori, it seems like you're making this about yourself. What were some of the thoughts that you were having when you saw Natsuki sitting over there? And like, can we try to point out the irrationality of them? Like, I just think that that's not Sayori's style. Because like I said, how can I expect someone to improve when they also don't know how to use the system to make the improvement yet? Like, yeah, I could teach her that. But she already has a system for how she understands the world and people. It's her amazing imagination and poetry and all these things. Like, why not just use that? Why like try to bring in this whole other new thing that's like kind of confusing and abstract? At the end of one club meeting, Monika has become rather invested in Sayori's friendship mission. I love that. A friendship mission. I'm going to add that to my vocabulary. That's great. Starts an innocuous conversation with Natsuki while she packs up. It's cool that you've been finding time to spend with Sayori. She was pretty excited for the chance to read manga with you. Yeah, I'm sure you've been enjoying the chance to share it too, right? Yeah, mostly. Natsuki glances over her shoulder, but doesn't reply further. What's on your mind? Nothing. I don't talk about people behind their backs. Oh. Natsuki falls silent, but she just fidgets instead of getting back to what she was doing, as though she wants to say more. Another thing I'm feeling, though, is that this is like kind of a Sayori story, which I am not complaining about at all. I love Sayori. I wish every story had a little more of Sayori in it. But yeah, this game continues to evade giving Natsuki like her own problem to work through. This is a little bit of that. Like, I don't think it's really talking behind Sayori's back to confide in Monika that you're struggling, really. But perhaps we will get this in a different side story, like more of a focus on Natsuki. It's okay to share your feelings. Monika is speaking basically from my own mind here. That's different from talking about someone behind their back. That's very reasonable of you, Monika. Monika would actually make a great therapist, to be honest. You know, outside of the whole, like, I tortured my friends and made one of them kill themselves stuff. That's actually why she would make a great therapist, I think, is because armed with the same, maybe I shouldn't say armed, equipped with the same knowledge of how to help people is the knowledge to absolutely dismantle and destroy them. And I would love to see Monika use those powers for good. I guess. I just hate when people talk about me behind my back. So I'm better than to do it to others. Monika shares a bright smile. You really consider it. Thanks, I guess, but it doesn't feel like it. You can trust me. Natsuki stands in silence for a moment, still fidgeting. I just feel smothered sometimes. I'm not used to someone being like all over me right after we meet. I mean, it's fun to hang out with her, but I just have no control over the pace. I can't just meet someone and instantly become best friends with them and like share everything about myself. That's not how it works. I just want to chill out sometimes. Oh, I didn't realize that was happening. It's fine. Why would you have? I know. I just feel bad about it. I know Sayori, so I should have realized. Monika navigates through her tinge of guilt, which has surfaced mainly due to her being the one who previously encouraged Sayori's behavior. Despite not knowing the situation, Monika can't help but feel a little responsible. Well, I don't think Natsuki blames her for that. Do you want me to talk to her about it? No, I wouldn't like that. Well, I don't know. I could like divert her into another club activity for you or something. This is one of the things that Monika, didn't she say actually in the long dialogues that we did with her, she had interest in psychology. Like, I've gotten this question before, like, if you want to become a therapist, what sort of stuff would you have to work through? Well, Monika would need to work through some of this stuff to be a good therapist. She has the insight for it. I think she has the right willingness to learn about people and try to resolve things. She's got the humility for it based on, the last side story. But this feeling guilty and responsible for things not working out because you nudged them in a certain direction, well, part of that comes with experience over time, right? Knowing how to deliver techniques and interventions so that it doesn't feel like you really gave someone advice and then if it doesn't work out, you're responsible. That's why you don't really give advice as a therapist. It's a method of guidance that comes from wanting a certain outcome. Like if I'm working with Sayori, I want her to be able to tone it down with Natsuki. That's why I wouldn't just tell her, you need to tone it down, and have you considered that you're smothering her? Like, that's not really the approach, right? It's using Sayori's own strength and saying, like, using your own imagination, like, can you get a sense for how Natsuki feels in these different situations? And what ideas do we have about, like, how you might want to approach this differently? Working on that over time. Like, you can say, I'm not giving any advice. I'm not saying, I think you should really give her some space. The closest would be, what do you think would happen if you gave her a little more space? It's not the same thing as telling her you need to give her more space. So Monika could totally learn that stuff to, one, overcome this like sense of control over like the outcome for your client, like if it goes well or not, that's directly related to how you delivered the intervention or how skillful you were. To prevent developing the wrong kind of relationship with a client and their progress, you don't want to get too invested in my choices affected your choices, but she could direct her assessment of people very well, I think, into helping others. Just some things to modify. And like, I did not get this at first either. It's not something you really learn in school so much. It's you get that from experience and supervision as well. Supervision is super important. That's a subject I haven't talked too much about, but like as a therapist, you're always getting supervision from people who have more experience and can give you insights like I'm sharing now, that sometimes the substance of the work is less about your skill set and more about your approach. Okay, the skill set is fine. The approach needs some work. No way. That'd be so underhanded and mean. Sorry, I didn't think that one through. Besides, just because I complained about it doesn't mean I'm asking for someone to solve my problems for me. True. It's kind of, yeah, that's why Natsuki doesn't really share her thoughts all that much. Monika jumps too quickly into problem solving, and Sayori jumps too much into people pleasing for her to really get much out of that. I'm sorry. I guess I just instinctively want to try to solve problems. My predictions of like what the next dialogue is kind of on point today, even if I haven't been invited to. It's fine. I wouldn't talk to Sayori about it, but it would make things really weird between us. I feel like it would make her just constantly be afraid that she's bothering me. I don't know how to keep things natural. Well, I think if you do a good job expressing all your feelings, she would totally understand. Sayori really wants to be the best she can be for other people. I think she would actually be happy that you want to improve your friendship with her. Maybe. Ugh, it just feels so dumb. Talking to someone about how to be friends with them. It's not dumb. It's just weird and not cool. It is cool. It's very cool. It's one of the coolest things, actually. Obviously, I'm biased. I've made my whole life about talking about feelings. Monika shrugs. It's the literature club. Then she mumbles through a stifled laugh. It's not the cool club. Hey! Sorry. That just tickled me for some reason. Look, I know that you're kind of in a tough spot and that it's hard for you to really express yourself. But you've really demonstrated to me that you're great at self-reflection and critical thinking, even if it doesn't feel like it to you. Can someone please just write a poem to express themselves? Already, I've been waiting for this moment. As much as I am a fan of direct action in a lot of ways, I think letter writing and creative expression are amazing, maybe a little too intimate, though, for these nascent friendships. I think that's the most important part of being able to navigate through these things. So I believe that you'll find the right thing to do. Well, Natsuki instinctively starts to reject the compliment but she can't find any excuse to do so. Thanks. Natsuki gathers her things, then she finishes her thought in a mumble. I'm still glad I joined the club, even if it's weird sometimes. Monika smiles, but Natsuki turns her back and walks away before waiting for a reply. It was an unusual way for Natsuki to express her appreciation, but Monika knew what she meant. It made Monika feel like everything really was going to be okay. Okay, so balance is about dogs meeting cats, and the immediate and infinite adoration that all dogs have for every other living creature, and the subsequent rejection and cold shouldering of every cat who has ever met an overly excited dog. It's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely can't wait to see what happens next. So next time we will take a look at Balance Part 2. Thank you, as always, for enjoying this series. It is so close to the finish line now, but we've still got a couple of stories to enjoy first. So until then, be good to yourselves, and I will see you next time.